What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. We need to do and finish up the sanding and polishing on this car. I know none of you want to sit here and watch me sand and polish this entire car, but it has to be done. And you're not going to do it, so I got to do it. So here it is. Here's kind of the game plan here. I have this side compounded out. It looks decent. Down there needs to be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. And then this whole door needs to be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 as well. So here's what I'm trying to get out. This is a lot of orange peel, obviously. So we need to go ahead, sand this down until it looks pretty much like this. And then we can 2,000, 3,000 all those scratches out. And hopefully it looks like a brand new car. So there's a lot of work on this passenger side. I spent a majority of my time on the driver's side. So that side looks really good. So like you look at the passenger side and you can see the orange peel in it. So there's a lot on the passenger side that needs to be fixed. And there's just a little bit on the passenger side fender as well that needs to be cut out, buffed out, polished. It's enough yapping from me. Let me go ahead, set you guys up, and we're just gonna knock out a quick time lapse of finishing out the passenger side of this car, and then we'll move into cutting, buffing, polishing, the whole 9 yards on that, and then we'll have a nice looking car again. Alright, so we're about 3/4 of the way through the process, I'd say. And we got everything looking pretty decent so far. So this is in 2,000 grit. We worked our way up from 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. We got one step left, and that's 3,000 grit to really bring back a little bit of this shine, make it easier for us to use the compound and polish, and make it just pretty again. We're trying to get to this right here, which is relatively good. I mean, we got the roof, which is kind of bunk, but we'll get that figured out. So, backside of the passenger is done. The wing, we just sanded down with 2,000 again. So we're going to hit that with 3,000 along with this door, and then everything should be pretty much relatively easy to compound out. And then, from there, we can go ahead and IPA wipe down this thing, and hopefully everything is up to spec so that we can go ahead and ceramic coat this car, because it's getting pretty dirty, and I want to be able to clean it and not have stuff stay on the paint. The paint should be dry enough and gassed out enough now. It's been about, I don't know, a month and a half since we painted it, so it should be good to go for ceramic coat. But we need to do one last step right here, 3,000 grit, this door down here, and the wing, then we're ready to go. As you just saw, we got this whole thing fully sanded down where it needs to be at 3,000 grit before we can start compounding and polishing. This is how it looks currently. All this water is still evaporating off, so give that some time. But there was a good bit of orange peel like down here, and now, if you can see, it's pretty flat. So everything looks really good. I'm not going for show car quality. I'm just going for quality enough to walk outside and not say, man, that looks like crap. So it's kind of where we're at. Not looking like crap, but it kind of does right now. So hopefully here in a minute after we compound and polish, it's not going to look like junk. But that's pretty much where we're going to sit for just right now. I need to let all this water evaporate off. Okay, so we have this guy ready to go for some compound and some polish. Here's how I'm going to start. I have a heavy cut microfiber pad on the 6-inch DA. We're going to use a correcting compound on a microfiber heavy cut to get a majority of these scratches out, and then we're going to use a foam pad correcting compound, and then we're going to polish with a finishing pad. So, 3 steps. Let's see how it'll work. Well, wouldn't you know it, we were going to ceramic coat and drive this car today. And now, if you take a look outside, we can just ceramic coat it because we can't drive in weather like this until about 24 hours after the ceramic coat has time to cure. So we just need to go ahead and get every square inch of this car fully ceramic coated, because now it is pretty much almost perfect, or as perfect as it's going to get. I'm going to run a quick polish over a few extra areas that I may have missed. I'm going to run through, make sure everything's good how I want it, and then we'll break out the ceramic coat and get this guy ready to go and nice and shiny again. Alright, so we got most of this car completely polished out now. It is almost fully ready to go. There's still a few panels that I'm just not happy with, and I needed to try some other products to see if I can get it to where I want it to be. I just don't think I'm using the correct stuff on a lot of these panels, just because there's a lot of curves, and then there's some deeper sand scratches from the 800 that the 2000 got out mostly, but I just don't have an aggressive enough compound to get out those like 1200 and finer scratches. Most of it has turned out really well though, but one panel that I am super happy with is the hood. The hood has come out phenomenally. So that got fully polished out. This is ready to go for ceramic coat. And speaking of ceramic coat, that's what we're going to be doing. Mainly just the hood right now, because obviously, like I said, a few panels that are just not up to my spec. And I need to figure out how I can go about changing my process, really, to get that perfectly dialed in and where I want it to be. So I need to try a couple different machines, a couple different products, and just see if I can pretty much like hash it out perfectly. So moving into ceramic coating. This is not sponsored, but if anybody from Armor Shield is watching, shoot me an email. We're going to be using the Armor Shield 9 ceramic coating, and this is going to make this hood pop like crazy. So let's hop into this box and let's see what we get. So this is categorized as like one of the world's best ceramic coatings. So let's see what's in this box. Nice, a credit card with no money on it. Either way, Here's what it comes with. It comes with your actual ceramic coating itself. And this stuff is going to make this color pop like crazy. You got your ceramic coating, then underneath it comes with an applicator pad, microfiber towels to wipe off the ceramic coating, gloves, and applicator pads. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these applicator pads, wrap it around this block, do 4 or 5 drops onto the pad, and wipe it onto the panel. We need to start with an IPA wipe down on the entire panel. So just get some IPA on here, get this guy wiped down to get rid of any contaminants that are on here from polishing or any of the sorts of anything else. Now we have about 4 or 5 drops on this block, and we just go ahead and apply it onto the car. Now once it's on there, just give it 2 to 3 minutes to rainbow up like it's starting to do now, and then we take the supplied microfiber cloth, this guy right here, and we go ahead and buff it out, and it'll look fresh and clean. When you're buffing this out, make sure you get every like little rainbow spot, or else you're gonna see it in the sunlight and it's not gonna go away, and it's gonna really make you mad. So take your time with this stuff. It's gonna be it's definitely a learning process, but it's really not that hard. And this does help enhance gloss and make everything look very nice. Alright, so that was the application, and then we look at the drying and the curing time. It states it is dust dry after 2 hours and is dry to the touch after 5 hours. Recommend leaving it in the sun or in a dry spot or a warm garage, and make sure that it's dry enough that you can use the vehicle again. You don't want to get this wet for at least 48 hours to ensure that it dries correctly, or else you could end up with smudged ceramic coat. Nobody wants that. So that's pretty much the entire process. Now, once I get everything figured out on how to get all these scratches and like scuff marks out and all this stuff from wet sanding, I think it's going to take me a little bit of time. So we're not going to focus on any more wet sanding, polishing, compounding, any of that in any more of the videos until I get it completely sorted out. So for now, the only thing that's going to be ceramic coated is going to be this hood, because the hood is up to spec, it's up to my par. The rest of the car is pretty much not. And before we get to any of like the final details and stuff like that, I really want to hammer out this polishing on this car and make it nice again. But we'll focus on that later on down the road whenever everything is figured out in my brain. But that's how the hood looks. You can kind of see like it enhances the gloss and like the color and all that stuff. So it does look really good in person. It's kind of hard to tell on camera, but this hood is definitely the nicest part of this entire car. And it's not even the panel that I spent the most amount of time on either. That's the crazy part. So either way, I think that's where I'm going to wrap up today's video. I appreciate all of you guys watching. Thank you guys so much. I have a lot more things coming down the road. I'm excited to share them with you guys, so please stick along. And if you like this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe. Helps me boost my channel out to other people so they can find this as well. But with that being said, I appreciate all of you, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.